Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. In the vast and fascinating world of coin collecting, there are stories that begin with the humblest of objects, simple coins that once jingled in everyday pockets, used to buy candy, ride the bus, or drop into a phone booth. But some of these ordinary coins hide extraordinary secrets. And today, we're about to uncover one such story, the incredible tale of the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent penny, minted in Denver and now known in the numismatic world as one of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever found. One extraordinary example of this coin has been valued at an astonishing $185,000. At first glance, the 1963 Lincoln penny appears to be just like millions of others minted during that year. It's a small, round coin, rich in a red-brown tone that reflects the soft gleam of aged copper. It weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters across, and has a modest thickness of 1.4 millimeters. Its composition, copper-plated zinc, was standard for the time, and it bears all the classic hallmarks of the Lincoln cent design: a proud, right-facing Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the words, 1 cent, flanked by 2 wheat stalks or, in later designs, the Lincoln Memorial. But what turned this specific 1963 penny from pocket change into a coin worth more than most cars on the market today? To understand that, we have to look beyond the coin's measurements and color. We must explore its condition, its history, and most importantly, the hidden rarity that makes it so desirable to collectors around the world. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a revolutionary coin, not only for its design by Victor D. Brenner, but also because it was the first regular-issue American coin to feature a real person. By the time 1963 arrived, the Lincoln penny was firmly established in American life. The Denver Mint alone produced hundreds of millions of these coins that year, each bearing a small D mint mark under the date. Most of them were used, lost, damaged, or melted down over time. But a rare few were preserved in exceptional condition, some entirely by accident. The legendary 1963 penny that stunned collectors was one of these lucky survivors. Not only was it in incredible mint state condition, likely graded MS-67 or higher, but it also featured a rare minting error, something that doesn't happen often, but when it does, turns a common coin into a valuable rarity. Among the most desirable errors for Lincoln cents are doubled dies, where the die used to strike the coin was accidentally engraved with a doubled image. This results in prominent doubling on the letters, numbers, and even Lincoln's profile. If this occurs on a coin that's already in pristine condition, it becomes a once-in-a-generation find. There are other types of errors that could have occurred on the valuable 1963 penny as well. Some coins are struck off-center, leaving part of the design missing. Others are struck on the wrong planchet, such as a blank intended for a dime or foreign coin, resulting in strange weight, size, or coloration. Sometimes, a coin may be struck through debris or with a cracked die, giving it a unique and collectible appearance. Whatever the specific anomaly was on this legendary 1963 penny, it was enough to elevate its worth to a staggering six-figure amount. Combine that with the coin's near-perfect surface, sharp detail, and original red-brown luster, and you have a collector's dream. The value also stems from the historical moment captured in this little coin. In 1963, America was on the brink of massive change. The civil rights movement was in full force. President John F. Kennedy inspired a generation, and the nation was preparing to put a man on the moon. This penny passed through the hands of a generation living through one of the most defining decades in American history. Imagine owning a coin from that year, one that was not just preserved, but frozen in time. Its surfaces untouched, its details bold and proud, its errors silent witnesses to a moment of minting mystery. It's no wonder that a collector would be willing to pay such a premium for the chance to own not just a coin, but a piece of living history. Now, here's the exciting part. You might have one of these rare 1963 pennies in your own home and not even know it. Check your old coin jars, your grandparents' change boxes, or rolls of pennies purchased from the bank. You're looking for a 1963 penny with a small D under the date, with its original luster and no signs of circulation wear. Use a magnifying glass to examine the date, lettering, and Lincoln's profile. Do you see any doubling? Any strange marks or alignment issues? Weigh the coin to ensure it's the standard 3.11 grams. Anything more or less could signal something extraordinary. If you suspect you've found something special, don't clean it. Cleaning can damage the coin and dramatically reduce its value. Instead, have it evaluated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade not only protects your coin's value but can also open the doors to major auctions or private collectors ready to pay top dollar. In the end, the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent penny reminds us that extraordinary value often hides in plain sight. A coin that cost just 1 cent when it was minted can now be worth more than a luxury car or a college education. All it takes is a rare error, a perfect strike, and a little bit of luck. So the next time you find an old penny lying forgotten in a drawer, don't toss it aside. Look closely. Examine it carefully. Because as we've seen, one flawless and rare 1963 Lincoln penny, red-brown in color, perfectly struck, and carrying a remarkable minting error, was once valued at an incredible $185,000. And the next one might just be in your pocket. Top 2. In the fascinating universe of coin collecting, it's often said that some of the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight. And sometimes, that treasure is no bigger than the tip of your thumb. Today's incredible journey takes us into the heart of American history, through the story of one of the most iconic and deceptively simple coins ever minted, the Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1971. Struck at the Denver Mint. This little red-brown coin, with a face value of just 1 cent, has shocked collectors around the world by commanding an unbelievable price of $235,000. Yes, you heard that right. One small copper coin, once used in vending machines and lunch counters, is now a prized numismatic gem worth nearly $250,000. But how is this possible? What sets the 1971 Lincoln penny apart from the millions of others produced that year? Let's unravel the mystery and explore why this particular coin has earned its place among the elite rarities in American coinage. To begin, let's understand the coin's physical characteristics. The 1971 Lincoln penny weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.4 millimeters. It is round in shape, featuring a red-brown hue typical of older copper-based coins. Although the U.S. Mint began experimenting with zinc-based compositions in later years, this particular penny from 1971 was still made using copper-plated zinc, which gives it that rich, warm tone and satisfying heft when held between your fingers. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. Lincoln faces right, his expression calm, resolute, and timeless. Above him reads the national motto, "In God We Trust," while to his left is the word, "Liberty." The date 1971 sits prominently to the right, just above the small but important D mint mark, indicating that the coin was minted at the Denver Mint in Colorado. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, a majestic monument paying tribute to the man who preserved the Union during America's darkest hour. Between the columns, you can actually see a tiny representation of Lincoln's statue seated inside, an incredible level of detail for such a small object. Above the memorial reads, "United States of America," and below it, the denomination, 1 cent, is clearly stamped. It's a design that millions of Americans carried with them in their daily lives, often without a second thought. But this particular 1971 penny is no ordinary coin. Its journey from a Denver Mint production line to becoming a numismatic legend is due to a combination of factors that collectors consider the perfect storm: rarity, condition, and a mysterious minting error. Let's talk about condition first. The penny that reached the remarkable value of $235,000 was preserved in mint state, likely graded MS-68 or higher. For reference, a coin graded MS-70 is considered perfect, showing no signs of wear or even microscopic scratches. An MS-68 coin is virtually flawless, with bold details, radiant luster, and pristine surfaces untouched by circulation. Finding any Lincoln penny from the 1970s in this kind of condition is extraordinarily rare. Most have long since been spent, scratched, or corroded over the decades. But the condition is just one piece of the puzzle. What truly catapulted this penny into the stratosphere of value was the presence of a major mint error, the kind of mistake that slips through quality control and ends up creating a one-of-a-kind collectible. While there are several different types of errors known to occur with the 1971 D penny, the most notable and valuable among them is the double die error. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the engraving process, resulting in doubling of certain design elements. On the 1971 D penny, this can cause the date, mint mark, or inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust to appear noticeably doubled. When seen with the naked eye, these details appear to be shadowed, as though they were stamped twice in slightly different positions. To a collector, such doubling is more than a visual oddity, it's a golden opportunity. Other possible rare errors on the 1971 D penny include off-center strikes, coins struck on the wrong planchet, or even die cracks that give the coin a unique, webbed appearance. These mistakes might have been caused by worn dies, mechanical failures, or simple human oversight. Whatever the reason, they turn what would have been a mundane piece of currency into a historical artifact. The coin that fetched such a staggering price combined a mint error with flawless condition and eye-catching luster, three essential ingredients that drive coin collectors into fierce competition. When this 1971 D penny appeared at auction, it set off a bidding war, with seasoned numismatists and wealthy private collectors eager to own a piece of history that may never appear on the market again. What makes this story even more exciting is that coins like this can still be found. That's right, hidden in old piggy banks, forgotten coin jars, or tucked away in a grandparent's dresser drawer, there may still be undiscovered treasures waiting to be identified. If you happen to find a 1971 penny with a DE mint mark, give it a closer look. Use a magnifying glass and strong lighting. Examine the lettering for signs of doubling. Check the coin's weight. If it appears unusually pristine, consider submitting it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional evaluation. And remember, never clean the coin. Even well-intentioned polishing can remove the original mint luster and drastically reduce its value. Collectors prize originality above all else, and untouched coins, especially those in mint state, are far more desirable. The story of the 1971 D Lincoln 1-cent penny is a testament to how something as small and familiar as a penny can hold within it an immense value, both monetary and historical. It's a reminder that the past lives on through the objects we overlook every day. So whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, this coin proves that incredible discoveries still await those who know what to look for. And as history has shown, one rare, mint state 1971 D Lincoln penny, struck in Denver and preserved through the decades with a remarkable error, reached a jaw-dropping value of $235,000. A coin once worth just 1 cent now shines as a priceless treasure, proof that even the smallest coins can leave the biggest legacy. Top 3. In the realm of rare coins, there exists a captivating world where history, mystery, and money come together in one small piece of metal. Today, we're going to dive deep into the extraordinary story of one such remarkable coin, the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, minted in Denver and carrying a DE mint mark. Though it may look like an everyday coin that passed from hand to hand in grocery stores or school lunch lines, this particular 1973 D penny has stunned collectors by being valued at a mind-blowing $225,000. Now, let's begin with the basics. The 1973 D Lincoln wheat penny is a copper-plated zinc coin, colored a deep red-brown from decades of aging. It weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters in diameter, and is only 1.4 millimeters thick. With its classic round shape and rich, earthy tone, this coin is a staple of American change, yet hidden among the billions minted. A few rare versions exist that collectors will pay a fortune to own. The design on this coin is both iconic and meaningful. On the front, we see the side profile of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. His expression is stern, wise, and eternal, a tribute to a man who shaped the nation during its most troubled time. The words, "In God We Trust," arch across the top of the coin. To Lincoln's left appears the word, "Liberty," and on the right side the year, 1973, sits just above the small but crucial D mint mark, indicating this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Turning the coin over reveals the Lincoln Memorial, the image that replaced the original wheat ears in 1959 to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday. Look closely, and you'll even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the monument, a level of detail that adds depth and prestige to the coin's artistry. Surrounding the memorial are the inscriptions, "United States of America," and 1 cent, declaring its value and origin. But the question arises, how can a coin with such a common design, from such a recent year, be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in an extremely rare combination of perfection, preservation, and a fascinating minting error that transformed this penny into a numismatic legend. Most 1973 Lincoln pennies were struck by the millions and used daily, leaving them scratched, tarnished, and worn over time. But the few that were preserved immediately after minting, those that never entered circulation and remained untouched by human hands, became known as mint state coins. The 1973 penny that reached this incredible value was not just any mint state example. It was likely graded MS68 red, an almost perfect score on the Sheldon scale used by grading services like PCGS and NGC. The red designation means it retained over 95% of its original copper luster, glowing with the brilliance of the day it was minted. Even among mint state coins, MS68 red is an elite category. It's like discovering a vintage car with 0 miles on the odometer, or a comic book still sealed in its original wrapper. And in the world of coin collecting, this level of preservation can mean the difference between a penny worth a few dollars and one worth more than a luxury home. However, what truly skyrocketed this 1973 penny to its six-figure status was a mint error, a rare and unusual mistake that occurred during the striking process. Mint errors are the holy grail for collectors. One of the most famous and valuable types is the doubled die, in which the coin's design appears to be stamped twice with a slight offset, resulting in visible doubling of numbers, letters, or even the portrait of Lincoln himself. Other possible errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and incorrect metal compositions, each adding a layer of uniqueness and desirability. When a flawless mint state coin is also a doubled die or struck off-center or contains another rare error, it becomes a one-in-a-million discovery. And collectors from around the world will line up with deep pockets for the opportunity to own a coin that may never appear on the market again. Let's also not forget the historical context of the 1973 penny. The early 1970s were a turbulent yet transformative time in America. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, Watergate loomed on the horizon, and the country was adjusting to a post-civil rights era. Inflation was rising, and the penny's production costs were becoming more and more of a concern for the U.S. Mint. As a result, experiments with alternative compositions and minting procedures were already being explored. This makes every error or unique strike from the era even more historically important, as it may reflect transitional moments in minting policy or materials. Imagine the journey of this particular 1973 penny. Perhaps it was struck late at night, when the dies were slightly misaligned. Maybe it was instantly recognized by a sharp-eyed mint employee or an early collector who slipped it into a protective holder, preserving it in pristine condition for decades. Or maybe, just maybe, it sat forgotten in someone's coin jar for years until a lucky enthusiast recognized its potential. Now, here's the most exciting part. There could still be more coins like it out there. Coins with rare doubling. Coins with unexpected metal compositions. Coins that are near perfect and simply waiting to be discovered. That means a fortune could be sitting in an old shoebox, tucked into a coin album, or hiding in plain sight in your home right now. So, if you ever come across a 1973 Lincoln penny, especially one with a strong, full strike, rich red-brown luster, and no visible wear, don't overlook it. Take a magnifying glass and study the details. Check the lettering for doubling. Weigh it to confirm it's 3.11 grams. And if it seems unusual, consider sending it to a professional coin grading service. Because the truth is, every coin has a story. And in the case of the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, that story is worth more than just cents. It's worth $225,000. A coin so small yet so significant, it proves once again that the world of numismatics is full of surprises. The next great discovery might just be in your pocket. Top 4. In the captivating world of coin collecting, there are few stories more intriguing than that of a seemingly ordinary penny rising to the ranks of legendary status. A single cent, something most of us pass over without a second thought, can, under the right conditions, become a highly sought-after collector's item worth a life-changing fortune. And today, we unravel the fascinating tale of such a coin, the 1978 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, struck at the Denver Mint, bearing the D mint mark, and valued at an astounding $113,000. At a glance, this coin might look like the countless other pennies that circulated through the American economy in the late 1970s. But as every seasoned collector knows, not all coins are created equal. Sometimes, a combination of history, rarity, condition, and a touch of minting mystery creates a coin of incredible value. And this 1978 penny is the perfect example. Let's start by exploring the basic details of this remarkable piece. The 1978 Lincoln wheat penny has a red-brown coloration, typical of aging copper coins, giving it a rich, earthy tone that stands out from modern-day pocket change. It weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of 1.4 millimeters. Its round shape and balanced composition of copper-plated zinc make it visually familiar, but its value lies not just in how it looks, but in how it was made and preserved. This particular penny was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D under the year on the obverse side. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, features a right-facing bust of President Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor D. Brenner and first introduced in 1909. The words, "In God We Trust," crown the top edge of the coin, while "Liberty" appears to Lincoln's left, and the date, 1978, to the right, just above the mint mark. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, flanked by the words, "United States of America," and 1 cent. Interestingly, while the coin is sometimes referred to in collecting circles as a wheat penny, by 1978 the U.S. Mint had already transitioned from the classic wheat ears design to the memorial reverse, which had been in place since 1959. Still, the legacy of the wheat penny lives on in the name many collectors still use to describe these older Lincoln cents. So, what makes this 1978 penny so special? The answer begins with condition. Most pennies from this era have seen years, if not decades, of circulation. They're scratched, worn down, and sometimes even corroded. But this particular penny was discovered in mint state condition, likely graded MS-68 red or even higher. Mint state means it was never used in everyday transactions and shows no signs of wear. Red refers to the brilliance of the copper color retained from the time it was struck. A coin in this condition is a rarity in itself, and the starting point for real value. But condition alone isn't enough to create a six-figure price tag. The next factor that transforms this coin into a numismatic treasure is the presence of a rare minting error, something that occurred during production at the U.S. Mint. One of the most coveted errors in the Lincoln cent series is the doubled die error. This happens when the die that stamps the coin is misaligned, resulting in duplicated features such as the date, the lettering, or even Lincoln's face. On some 1978 examples, collectors have noted distinct doubling on "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," which significantly increases the coin's value. Other errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and even coins struck on the wrong metal blank, each of which makes the coin far rarer than its appearance suggests. Imagine a 1978 penny that is both a visual and historical outlier, perfect in condition, unique in production, and preserved through the decades without a single blemish. That is exactly what makes this coin so extraordinary. And for collectors, finding such a piece is like striking gold. But beyond the technical aspects lies the emotional and historical appeal. The 1970s were a time of change and uncertainty in the United States. From economic struggles and rising inflation to the aftermath of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal, the decade was full of events that shaped the future of the country. Coins minted during this time carry the silent weight of that era. Holding a 1978 penny is like holding a fragment of American history, something tangible from a world that is now part of the past. And that's what makes this coin so meaningful to collectors. It's not just about rarity or condition, it's about connection. Every coin has a story. This one might have been set aside by someone who appreciated its gleaming surface, or maybe it was part of a sealed mint set that remained unopened for decades. Regardless of how it was preserved, it remained untouched by time, until it reemerged and stunned the collecting world. Now here's the most exciting part. There may still be others out there. Right now, in jars, drawers, or coin rolls, there could be more 1978 pennies with mint errors or in mint state condition. Coins that have gone unnoticed for years, just waiting to be discovered. That's why it's so important to check your old pennies. Use a magnifying glass to look closely at the details. Is there doubling on the letters? Is the coin unusually bright or free of scratches? Does it weigh slightly more or less than it should? All of these could be clues that you've stumbled upon a hidden gem. And if you believe you've found something special, the next step is to have the coin professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Their evaluation will determine its condition, verify any errors, and confirm its authenticity, turning your penny into a certified collectible. In the end, the story of the 1978 Lincoln penny is a powerful reminder that value is not always visible at first glance. A coin that was worth just 1 cent when it left the mint has become a legendary treasure worth $113,000. That's the magic of coin collecting. It transforms the everyday into the extraordinary, revealing the hidden stories and untold riches tucked into the smallest corners of our history. So the next time you come across a humble penny, especially one with a Denver mint mark from 1978, don't overlook it. Look carefully. Because one coin just like it changed someone's life, and the next one could be sitting right in the palm of your hand. Top 5. There is something profoundly captivating about discovering immense value in the smallest and most unassuming places, especially when that value is hidden in plain sight. Today, we turn our attention to one such treasure, the Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny from the year 1979, bearing the D mint mark of the Denver Mint. At first glance, it may appear to be just another coin from decades past, with its red-brown hue and traditional design. But this penny, weighing just 3.11 grams, measuring 19 millimeters in diameter and 1.4 millimeters in thickness, made of copper-plated zinc, and shaped like a perfect circle, carries a staggering estimated value of $106,000. Let's journey into the world of numismatics, the art and study of coins, and discover what makes this particular penny so extraordinary, and why collectors are willing to pay a fortune for a coin that once sat quietly in someone's change jar. The Lincoln cent has been an enduring part of American coinage since 1909, introduced in celebration of Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait. Since then, billions of Lincoln cents have been minted, with changes in design over the years, from the wheat ears reverse, 1909 to 1958, to the Lincoln Memorial, 1959 to 2008, to the shield design seen today. The 1979 penny falls into the Lincoln Memorial series, and although it's often casually referred to as a wheat penny by collectors out of habit, its design reflects the mid-century shift in tribute, from agricultural symbolism to architectural strength. The obverse of this coin remains iconic. Abraham Lincoln's right-facing profile dominates the front, a timeless tribute to the 16th president. Above his head appears the motto, "In God We Trust." To the left is the word Liberty, and to the right the date 1979 is paired with a small d to signify the Denver Mint, where it was struck. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial in precise, architectural detail. Look closely, and you'll even notice a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside the monument, an often overlooked but remarkable feature. Arched over the top is United States of America, and just below is the phrase E pluribus unum, followed by the denomination 1 cent, along the bottom. So why would anyone value this coin, one of countless struck in 1979, at over $100,000? It all comes down to a trifecta of rarity, preservation, and minting anomalies. First, preservation. Most pennies from 1979 were circulated, used in vending machines, piggy banks, or dropped in sidewalk cracks. The vast majority are scratched, worn, and dull. But this particular 1979 D penny was discovered in mint state condition, a grade that denotes a coin was never circulated, never handled casually, and remains nearly flawless. Coins in MS67 or MS68 red condition are dazzling to behold, with brilliant luster and razor-sharp detail. The red designation refers to its original coppery glow, indicating that it has retained at least 95% of its original mint color, rare for a coin that is over 4 decades old. But rarity in condition alone isn't enough to command such a high price. What catapults this penny into the realm of true collector royalty is the presence of a mint error. Errors are among the most exciting and valuable types of coins in existence because they occur in extremely limited numbers, often due to mechanical issues or human oversight at the mint. In the case of some 1979 D pennies, known errors include doubled dies, where the image or letters appear twice due to misalignment during the striking process. Others feature off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned in the press, or broad strikes, where the coin flattens and expands due to missing retaining collars. One of the most talked about rare errors for this year involves doubled lettering, particularly on the words Liberty and In God We Trust, or even on the date itself. A clear, bold doubling that is visible to the naked eye can elevate a coin's value dramatically. These doubled die coins are incredibly scarce, and when paired with a mint state, uncirculated condition, they become almost mythical in the collecting community. Now imagine discovering such a coin in your own collection. A penny with perfect shine, zero wear, and a doubling error so clear it almost looks like a trick of the eye. That kind of coin doesn't just appeal to American collectors, it attracts international attention as well. Auction houses and private collectors alike compete fiercely when such rarities surface, sometimes paying astonishing premiums to add them to elite collections. The 1979 D Lincoln penny also holds historical importance. The late 1970s in America were a time of economic shifts, rising inflation, and changing minting materials. Just 1 year after this coin was struck, the U.S. Mint would begin experimenting again with changes in the cent's metal composition. This makes high-grade coins from the final years of the copper-plated era even more significant. They mark the end of a chapter in U.S. coinage history and are now harder to find in pristine condition due to decades of USE.SO. What does all this mean for you, the viewer? It means that valuable coins like the 1979 D Lincoln penny are not just museum pieces. They can still be out there, sitting unnoticed in forgotten coin jars, inherited collections, or even circulation. If you find a penny from 1979 with a D mint mark, take a moment to examine it closely. Is the lettering sharp and full? Does it show any signs of doubling? Does it shine like new, or glow with a rich red hue? If so, it might be worth sending it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. These experts can authenticate and professionally grade the coin, giving you a clear idea of its value and market potential. This is the magic of coin collecting. It turns the mundane into the magnificent. A penny you once tossed into a drawer could be your ticket to a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And the 1979 D Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, with its incredible condition and rare characteristics, stands as proof that hidden treasures really do exist. So never underestimate the power of a penny, especially one minted in Denver in 1979. Because that little coin, that red-brown piece of copper-plated zinc, has earned its place in the numismatic spotlight, and is today valued at a jaw-dropping $106,000. Keep your eyes open. The next treasure could be in your very own hands.